darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Hey, Pastor Tommy here with your latest anti-update and sermon teaser. What do I mean by anti-update? Well, just what it sounds like. You see, when we consider COVID, when we consider the pandemic that we've experienced for just about a year, like a year ago today, I believe almost, is when things got locked down, at least in the state of Washington. And the good news is, across the country, is that cases have fallen just off the charts, right? I think they're down by like 77%. There's lots of great news coming out of the CDC. This week I read that grandparents who are vaccinated that got the thumbs up, like you can meet with your grandkids and more people can go in your house and all that kind of stuff. So there's great news, great things happening. States everywhere are opening up. Now, here's the bad news, at least if you live in the state of Washington, is that apparently our governor hasn't heard any of that good news. For real. Today, I went on to the governor's website to sort of see, okay, where are we? We've got to make some Easter plans. We've got to talk about Maundy Thursday, if we're going to do it or not. Probably not right now. And when can we sing? And I got to the governor's website, and I'm going to be honest with you, I was shocked, completely shocked. I started writing Samuel immediately. I was so shocked. Because when I got to the website, you see, our governor has said in phase 2 of the Healthy Washington Plan, which we are in, he said, when you meet 3 out of 4 of these metrics that I'm giving you, we will move to the next phase. And the first thing I noticed on the website was, of the 4 metrics that he said we have to meet, we've been meeting all 4. We've met all 4. We have 4 green lights in the state of Washington. Now, what shocked me about that was not the 4 green lights. What shocked me about that is that we have had 4 green lights since February 11th. For a month, things have been green, and yet we've heard not a peep out of our governor. We haven't heard anything. In fact, the website hasn't been updated since then. So what's going on? I have no idea. I have no idea how to navigate it. And I'm telling you this just to give you some sense of a lot of our lives as pastors and church leaders is to try and figure out what's the safest way for us to move forward. And we've relied on the governor to give us that information so we can be obedient and good citizens and, in submission to the governing authorities. And yet, for the past month, we have gotten no information, even though a month ago we met the standards. So where does that leave us? Honestly, I don't know. That's why it's an anti-update. I wish I could come and say, your governor is on top of things. Your governor is just kicking it out of the park. Of all the governors in the United States, we have the best one because he is helping us to open up. I just don't know. I don't say that as criticism, but I do say I wish, Governor Inslee, I'm sure you watch my updates, that you would come out and help us know what we can do to move forward in the most safe way, but also to open up as quickly as possible. So if you are so inclined, you might want to write an email to the governor or make a phone call to the governor's office and say, hey, what's going on? Our pastor would love to know. Tell him Pastor Disaster sent you. I'm sure everyone knows who that is. So with that said, what are we doing this week for the sermon? This week's sermon is a great passage. Again, they're all great, I know. It is the sinful woman in Simon the Pharisee's house. And if you remember, as we've been looking at several passages from Luke, from the Jesus Storybook Bible, really Luke has this sort of theme in his book of sort of rule breakers versus rule keepers. How do rule breakers interact with Jesus versus how do rule keepers interact with Jesus? In some sense, even though they're all different parts of the book, this is sort of like the high point of the book, because in the same house, you have a rule keeper and a rule breaker. And we get to see Jesus not only interact with both of them, but we get to see Jesus interact with both of them about the other. And we get to see this great object lesson of what it means to be forgiven and what we're going to do about it. How should that affect our lives? So I'm excited about it. I get excited about most of my sermons. Not all, but most. And so I look forward to seeing you if you come in person. And that's the thing about the anti-update I gave you before. I think things are safer than we're led to believe, at least on the Washington government websites. And so if you feel safe, if you've been vaccinated, please come out and join us. We'd love to see you. You need human connection. We need human connection. Let's come together and connect. If you can't do that, if you're still not, you're still like, oh, I don't know, that's fine. We will also have the sermon presented online. I'm going to pre-record it. And so, but we'd really love to have you. And also, of course, we'd really love to have you coming this Easter. And whether you come to church this Easter or not, I'd really encourage you, if you're a member of New Hope, to connect with your neighbors. Like, this is a great opportunity, if nothing else, to go to your neighbors and say, hey, neighbor, how are you doing? Maybe you can come over, maybe not. Connect with your neighbors. Our job as Christians, right, is to be a blessing to our neighbors. And so if you can't come to church, at least if you can, try and be a blessing to your neighbors. So I love you, I miss you, and I can't wait to see you. Pastor Tommy, out.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.